Hello. Every time I do these, I promise myself that I will make, when I'm watching the episode, make a point of picking out good um, visuals. And every single time I get dragged into the episode and it's over. And every single time I do a video, she goes off. Please check out Dirty 30. My got hair. My New Year's Eve video to see her identity over there. But here we are, the end of season 5, the beginning of season 6. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no theme music, none of that stuff going on here. Please check out my Star Trek recaps every Friday. I'm a series person. I like series. I like the character progression from book to book to book. And I wish I could play these episodes live and just talk about them as they go. But there's a whole bunch of copyright stuff. I think there are other people that are more important, way more important than me. I'm under the table important. I mean, probably under the rug in your basement important. So I don't take those chances, but that's what I would like to do. I would like to run it live and just talk about it live. But, also check out my If Then later this afternoon. I work really hard on those, gathering all the different books. We started off with the Bridgertons. If you like the Bridgertons, then maybe you like Joanna Lindsay's Mallory's and Catherine Coulter Sherbrooke's. I did vampires. I did werewolves. We did homicide. We did forensics. I did the Fae. I did Black authors. I did Native American with Hillerman, and Anne Hillerman actually saw my review on her book Lost Birds and actually complimented me on it. I was so impressed with that. Also, my daily book reviews. We've just finished up with Victoria Thompson's Gaslight series. We're 19 books in with Alex Cross, James Patterson's Alex Cross. I'm forever saying that wrong. And J.R. Ward's Black Tiger Brotherhood. And we're going to be starting up C.S. Harris in a couple days. But let's get to Star Trek Next Generation. We are on Disc 7, Season 5. It's the last 2 episodes. Or last week we did The Inner Light. I hope you checked that out. And this week is technically the first show of Season 6, or the last show of Season 5. Time's Arrow, Part 1. I like this episode a lot. It goes really quickly for me. And it's just, I like to watch it. I like the Guinans in it. Whoopi Goldberg, she does a good job. And I'm just enjoying the heck out of it, and I hope you will stay with me as we go through it. Like I said, I wish we could play it live, but we can't. But we start off, and I've got a new toy. I spent $20 whole on this toy, and it only works when it's turning green. So you can see how well it's working when it's purple. It's supposed to be green when it works. Oh, look, there it goes. It's working now. You'll have to let me know if it works, because I don't think it works at all. But anyways, this is all low tech here. We're not high tech. This is what you see is what you get. And we start out with a captain's log. The Enterprise has been recalled to Sector 001 on a priority mission. All we've been told is that the evidence has been discovered indicating the presence of extraterrestrials on Earth 5 centuries ago. What is up with that? Oops. So we're back on Earth, and it looks like the same setting that they used for the Wesley Crusher episodes. For the mission that Wesley tried to, and we also met Tom Paris for the first time in that episode too. My Voyager peeps. I love Voyager. And as I would love to see a Voyager thing. And don't tell me about the Janeway cartoon. I want a live action. I want real people. I want our cast back as real people doing a Voyager thing. Christy Golden, is it, that wrote all the books after Voyager got home? We need some Voyager. We need some Voyager. We got Star Trek. We need Voyager, and we need Stargate Atlantis. I don't think either will ever happen in our lifetime, but I would like to see a Stargate SG-1 and a Voyager. A Voyager episode. I would love to see that. We will do Voyager after we do all the Star Treks, but we will get to Voyager. So we are on Earth. So the scientist takes him into the cave, and he says the work crews were down here installing seismic regulators when they found some remarkable artifacts. And he shows them. Picard says, and it's been determined they date back to the late 19th century. The scientist says yes. Data looks at the bifocals and the gun, and he says it's a vision aid is typical of the era. The weapon is a .45 caliber double action cavalry pistol invented by the Colt Firearms in 1873. They also show the watch, and I believe Samuel L. Clemens is the owner of the watch. With love, November 30, 1889. And Picard asks, what makes you think that extraterrestrials are related to discoveries? The crew was having a problem with the regulators. Something inside the cavern was interfering with the phase conditioners. It turned out to be the cavern itself. Let me see. There, Picard is examining the gun. There's the watch. Data says the composition of the exposed rock face has been altered by exposure to triolic waves, which you're not going to find on Earth in either the 19th or 24th century, the scientist says. Triolic waves, Picard says, the byproduct of energy source employed by very few species because of its deleterious effect on living tissue. The scientist says, we've confirmed that no one has been in or out of this cavern in centuries, so we're left with a 500-year-old mystery. Picard says, I'm curious, Doctor. There are far greater experts on Earth to investigate your mystery. Why bring the Enterprise all the way home? The scientist says, as we continued our evacuation, we found one other thing I haven't shown you yet. We tried to leave everything as we found it. He opens, takes the cover off the object. There you go. There's the object. Data's head. Then we go into opening credits. So we return from opening credits. Captain's log, stardate 45960.2. We've transported the materials discovered in the cavern back to the ship for analysis. I wish I could be dispassionate about the implications as my second officer. So they're working on Data's head in engineering. Data says, interesting. There is a 12% decomposition of the titanium in the neural pathway links. That suggests the allies are vulnerable too. Riker says, Data, how can you look inside that? Analyze the decomposition without emotion, sir? Yes, I'm simply trying to make an objective assessment. Data, is this yours? I believe so, sir. Just a second. Then Picard joins the conversation and asks him if it could be Lore. Data says no. My brother's positronic brain has an L-type phase discriminating amplifier. Mine is an R. Type R? Yes, sir. Can you predict how long this has been in the cavern? Data says decomposition strongly indicates that life was terminated approximately 500 years ago. That would be consistent with the other artifacts we recovered. Riker says your head is not an artifact. Data says in relative terms, perhaps not. Nevertheless, it seems clear that my life is to end in the late 19th century. Riker's like, not if we can help it. There's no way anyone can prevent it, sir. At some future date, I will be transported back to the 19th century Earth, where I will die. It has occurred. It will occur. Geordi says, well, I can't tell you exactly who the aliens were, but I have found out a few things. Wouldn't it be weird just looking at your head sitting on a plate like that? Geordi says the triasolite rock face tells us we're probably dealing with a species with microcentrum cell membranes. Triolic waves wouldn't harm them. It also might mean they're shapeshifters of some kind. Riker says, so they have appeared on Earth as humans. Geordi says, I don't think it's anyone we've run into before. Nothing we found matches up with any known life forms. What does match up is cellular fossil, which might have been along just for the ride. A cellular fossil? Geordi says, a microscopic ciliated life form, not unlike 1,000 other single-celled life forms you find on any planet's surface. Except this one is LB10445. And LB10445 is only known to exist in one place, Davita 2, in the Marab sector. Number 1, lay in course. On my way, Riker says. So then Geordi and Data are having a conversation. Geordi's like, do you want to talk about it? Data says, are you referring to the foreknowledge of my death? Geordi's like, yeah. I have no particular desire to discuss the matter. Do you need to talk about it? Yeah! Why? Data, this has got to bother you a little. On the contrary, I find it rather comforting. Comforting? I've often wondered about my own mortality as I've seen others around me age. Until now, it's been theoretically possible that I would live an unlimited period of time. And although some might find this attractive, to me it only reinforces the fact that I am artificial. Geordi says, I never knew how tough this must be for you. Tough, as in difficult? Knowing that you would outlive all your friends. I expected to make new friends. True. And then to outlive them as well. And now that you know that might not be true. It provides a sense of completion to my future. In a way, I'm not that different from anyone else. I can now look forward to death. I never thought about it that way, Geordi says. One might conclude that it brings me one step closer to being human. I am mortal. Then Picard calls bridge officers. We are approaching the Davidian system. Report to your stations. Geordi says, see you later. Let's get together for a game of chess or something later. So then Guinan comes in. And she says, that sounded like a very intense discussion. Yeah, they found Data's head a mile beneath San Francisco, been down there about 5 centuries. That's why the Enterprise has been sent back to Earth. I didn't realize. It's something, isn't it? He seems fine about it. Better than I am. Well, I'd better get to engineering. And Geordi leaves. And Guinan says, full circle. She knows something. She should come clean. But in her philosophical, non-interfering with how things progress thing, she is very, well, I think you should do this, or it's full circle and this is where it all started, and she's very mystique about the whole situation. That's what she says. full circle. She knows. She knows. But doesn't tell. So then Riker and Troy are having a conversation in the hallway. I heard about Data. Riker says, yeah. It's having an unusual traumatic effect on everyone. Riker says, yeah. If you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm just angry, Troy says. I'm not angry. Yeah, I'm angry. Why should I be angry? Because maybe it reminds us of our own mortality. I just don't want to believe it. Have you ever heard Data define friendship? No. How did he put it? As I experience certain sensory input patterns, my mental pathways become accustomed to them. The inputs eventually are anticipated and even missed when absent. So what's the point? So he's used to us and we're used to him. It's like finding out that someone you love has a terminal illness and awkward. So then the door opens and it's awkward. Would either of you get in the turbo lift? They don't get the turbo lift. Would either of you mind if I made a personal inquiry? Personal query, right, go right ahead, Troy says. I'm perceiving an apparent change in the way others behave toward me. For example, people abruptly end conversations when I appear, just as you did when the turbo lift doors open. Is that an accurate observation? Riker's like, not at all. Troy's like, yes. Riker's like, yes. You're right, Data. It's not a very nice thing to do. It's just that our mental pathway. Okay, you'll have to forgive me here. I'm just gonna go a little bit backwards here. I ran into technical difficulties, and this video was recorded in so. From here on forward, this is. I hope the merge went well. Obviously, I'm letting you know there was a merge, so it's no big secret. I'm trying something out new. Fingers crossed it works. Apparently both of these videos got jibba 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 jibba. I'm throwing away my new $20 microphone. And we're just gonna have to live with the computer and its inadequacy. I've had it go B. So please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I've had to do 5 videos this week that were over 2 hours in length each, and it's just all right. So anyways, I'm enjoying the heck out of this story, so that's another reason why I'm willing to go back and do it a second time. So they were talking about Data, and the elevator opens up, the turbo lift opens up, and I'm sitting there going, awkward moment, seriously awkward moment. So we had just finished saying, how did he put it? As I experience certain sensory input patterns, my mental pathways become accustomed to them. The inputs eventually are anticipated and even missed when absent. So what's the point? He's used to us and we're used to him. It's like finding out someone you love has terminal illness. And they get in the turbo lift. Data, counselor, commander. And then he goes, let me see if I can do this now without destroying anything. Would either of you mind if I made a personal inquiry? Personal inquiry? No, go right ahead. I am perceiving an apparent change in the way others behave toward me. For example, people abruptly end conversations when I appear, just as you did when the turbo lift doors open. Is that an accurate observation? No, not at all, says Riker. Yes, says Troy. Yes, says Riker. You're right, Data. And it's not a very nice thing to do. Riker says, it's just that our mental pathways have become accustomed to your sensory input patterns. And Data says, I understand. I'm also fond of you, Commander. As you will, Counselor. We're in orbit, Riker says. Any signs of life? Worf says, negative, sir. Data says, Captain, sensors are picking up unusual temporal disturbance on a small area of the planet's surface, 42 degrees, 7 minutes north by 88 degrees inclination east. Temporal disturbance? Put us in a standard orbit above those coordinates. Spectral analysis shows a high level of triadic waves emanating from the same location. Any correlation to those on Earth? Riker asked. Affirmative, data says. The magnetic signature is identical to the one found in the cavern. Would those triadic waves be dangerous to humanoids? Picard asked. Data says only with long-term exposure, sir. There's no immediate threat. Taken away, team. Riker says, Worf, Geordi, Troy, join me in transporter room 3 for an away team. So then Data has a word with Picard when he was not chosen to go on the away team. Sir, it's standard procedure that the second officer accompany the away team. Yes, Mr. Data, I'm aware of that. Then I must assume your decision is related to this discovery on Earth. I think it's reasonable to take precautions, Picard says. Captain, there's no rational justification for this course. Then I'll be irrational, he says. It is possible, sir, that the events leading to my death will not occur for years, even centuries. I hope that's true, Mr. Data. Nevertheless, this investigation began with your death, and I am simply trying to see that it doesn't end that way. Data says, I appreciate your concern, Captain, but to employ an aphorism, one cannot cheat fate. Cheat fate? Perhaps we can't, Mr. Data, but at least we can give it a try. So they beam down to the cavern. Geordi says the concentration of triadic waves falls off about here. It increases exponentially the closer we go in. What's the source? Riker asked. Something underground? Negative, Commander. What's the explanation? I don't have one yet. LaForge to Enterprise. Data says go ahead. Data, run a spectral field correlation for me. Let's find out if these triadic waves are in any way related. Geordi says two temporal distortions. Data says acknowledge. And they move towards the underground. Let me see. Just a second. So Troy moves in closer to the center. And Deanna says, there's life here. A child, an old woman, dozens more, hundreds, terrified. Terrified. My God, they're human. Riker says, wherever they are, Troy's convinced they're human. Oh. Okay. Yeah, they may be trapped somehow. We're not sure. Data says, Captain, the results of my temporal analysis may be pertinent. Picard says, go ahead. Let me go back. Let me see if I can get it. I'm making mistakes here. Sorry. Data says, the triadic waves. That explains a few things. How much data? A positive displacement of 0.004%. Well, whoever it is, we're out of phase. With it, we're only taking a fraction of a second. A fraction of a second would make them invisible. But Geordi says a millisecond, a year. It wouldn't make any difference. If what we're reading is true, then we're occupying the same space but in different time. How do we compensate? Commander, we might be able to manipulate the synchronic distortion. Maybe if we were able to create a contained force field. Just a sec. But to get a 004 variance, we need an incredibly sensitive phase discriminated data. I don't think we got one that close. And Data's like, yes, we do. Data tells the captain it's built into his positronic decompile, and it will be necessary for him to join the away team, so he proceeds. And this is Troy sensing all the people here. I'm out of sync. Sorry. I'm really bad today. I'm very sorry. So, Data is letting them know that Troy, it says whatever they are, Troy's convinced they're human, and they are. And Geordi's like, but to get a 004 variance, we need an incredibly sensitive phase discriminated data, and I don't think we have one that come close as that. And Data's like, yes, we do. It is built into my positronic decompile. It would be necessary for me to join the away team, sir. And Picard gives him permission to do so. I just wanted to show them walking through the cavern again. I just wanted to show a group shot of them. I screwed up because the one I showed in the last video was better. Um, there he goes. That's a little bit better. But I just wanted to show this group shot. So data has to go down there. So here's a group shot of them all down in the cavern. Data comes down. And Data brings this device with him. Let me see if I can find it again. So Data brings this device down, and I'll see if I can get another picture of it in a minute. Jody says, let me give you a hint with that. Data. Jody works with the device Data has brought down. Once I adjust the force field, I will no longer be visible, Commander. I have taken steps, however, to ensure that you will be able to hear me. If you would assist me in a test of communication, my voice will be transmitted on a delayed correlation to the phase adjustment. That should allow me to maintain verbal contact. Riker says, we'll be able to talk to you. Data says, no, that will not be possible. Geordi says, the subspace field has been established. You're set to go, Data. And then Data takes the device. Okay, so there's Data with the device, and he does the synchronization. The subspace field has been established. You're set to go, Data. Adjusting the synchronic distortion to 001, 0.002, 0.003, 0.004, and Data disappears. I've made visual contact. There are life forms here. They are either unaware of me or choosing to ignore me. I am moving approximately 10 meters north of my starting point to observe more closely. Data says they range from 2 to 3 meters in height, silver gray in color. They have 4 limbs. No eyes or ears are noticeable. There is a single orifice where a humanoid forehead would ordinarily be. They are reclined against the rock face surrounding an apparatus of some sort, 1.5 meters in height. So Data disappears. Data says it's releasing what appear to be energy fragments, which are then ingested by the entities through the orifice, perhaps some sort of nourishment. Data says the upper portion of the apparatus seems to be holding facility for the energy segments. There are hundreds, perhaps thousands of these fragments inside. I have resumed a northerly direction. There is no evidence yet of humans. Okay, that's enough, Data. Come back now. Now remember, he can't hear Geordi. I have encountered another life form, an Ophidian. It seems to be restricted by a force field. 2 of the silver gray entities are approaching it. They have released the force field. I am reading a temporal distortion of massive proportions. The Ophidian is time-space continuum. Data says, caught in the after effect. I am attempting Data. Data is caught in the after effect. I'm attempting. There's a flash and the machine. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. And the machine reappears, but Data does not. And Riker says we have lost him. So next we see Data on the street, on the cement street, the cement brick street. And he walks off trying to get information from passersby. So then Data approaches these 2 men. Excuse me, I'm searching for 2 individuals with an Ophidian and a snake. And the guy says they're Frenchmen and they walk off. Data finds a newspaper on the ground. It's the San Francisco Register dated Sunday, August 13th, 1893. Could you help
a 49er, I fell down a shaft. I got blown up in a tunnel. That is unfortunate, data says. It is most unfortunate. I require large amounts of whiskey as liniment. I am sorry, but I have no whiskey to give you. I will take it down. I'm sorry, I have no form of legal tender. Well, we're both in the same boat, huh? Well, this is my street. You'll have to find one of your own. It says I would be happy to do so, but I'm presently in need of information. Stockbrokers are cheap as hell. Don't even bother to ask. Your best handout is from a young fellow with his lady. You give him a chance to show her he's generous. Steer clear of sailors. Most likely you get a fist across the jaw for your trouble. Thank you for advice. I'm trying to find two individuals with a snake. A snake? You're an odd fellow, aren't you? But just don't be too particular where you get your funds from. No, I need medical attention. I'll get a doctor. No, it's too late for that. And he goes after a 49er. Going, hey, can you help a 49er out? And, I lost my thing. Sorry. So Data sees a hotel, and he sees the bellboy receiving a tip. Sir, I am in need of temporary lodging. Bellboy, Mr. London says, looks like the Mrs. booted you out in the middle of the night. I understand the source of your misconception, however, this is not sleeper. I do not have a missus. Well, I am a Frenchman. Oh, well, everybody's from somewhere. That doesn't matter at this hotel. 6 pence a day or $4 a week. I have no money. Well, now that matters. But I'm capable of performing significant tasks, both mental and physical. Perhaps your hotel would offer me a job. Geez, I don't know. We're pretty happy with the maid we've got. Cooks decent, dishwashers don't all day, but at least he gets here on time. And then there's me. I do everything else. Sorry, lady left out with you tonight, Mr. Lane. Poor fellow hasn't filled the street in weeks. And he's like, poker? Ada joins the poker game. Fold, the gambler says, me too. Go to blazes, fold. Gambler's poker face carved in marble. Excuse me, gentlemen, what in hell do you want? I would like to join the game. Pale face. I don't like Easterners personally. I'm a Frenchman. These parents don't originators, Jesus, me. New Orleans. As you can tell, I was horrible then. I'll lose news so much because we Jewish here's Jewish commentator. Please sit, the gambler says. So he sits down. This is a poker game. The dealer's yours. The ante is 4 bits. They puts combats on the table. Family heirloom in a matter of speaking. It's a crystalline composite of silver, beryllium, carbon, and gold. John says gold. I will give you $3 for it. Data accepts it. And then we see Data in his hotel room. Oh, I keep forgetting. Room with the native's bowler hat with feather and the gambler's fancy waistcoat. Did you see the looks on their faces? I did everything I could not to laugh. To whom are you referring? Frederick LaLuke and Joe Fallinghawk. Those guys are card sharks. Oh, sure, they play easy at first, not to scare off the marks, but you give them a little, they'll bleed a man dry, especially an out-of-towner like yourself. What was the source of your jocular reaction, Data asked? What was it you found humorous? Don't you see? They had you pegged for a sap. The clothes you got on, the way you talk, it's like you were born yesterday. You shuffled them, though. It was not my intent to deceive you, Data says. Have it your way. This is the place. Breakfast is 6 to 8. Check out at noon when you're ready to leave. He hands over the key and holds it in his hands. Tip. He's like, tip. It takes Data a minute. It would be advisable to monitor that cough, Data says. I've read that there is currently a cholera epidemic in San Francisco. I never felt better, of course. The gratuity, thank you for your assistance. $1. Is there anything else you need? If you can get lonely in San Francisco, you might want some company. I can introduce you to Lily. I have no need for companionship. However, I do require some supplies. Anything you need, I can get for wholesale. I can get it for less than wholesale. You only ask me where it came from. David writes a list. What do you need all this stuff? I'm an inventor. No kidding? Well, this stuff is going to take a while. I'll have to do a clear course count, and it's not going to be cheap. And David hands him a wad of cash. More than enough. You may be taking the surplus for yourself. Keep change exactly. Done. My wife says. So the bellboy leaves and runs out the back door past the old guy who gets killed by the people with the snake cane. They come and they kill him and he dies. I think that's a good shot of them. Oh, there we go. There's a good shot of the bad people with the snake thing. So then we get back to the Enterprise. Captain Log supplemental close range sensor analysis has yielded no further traces of commander data. Despite the emotional repercussions among my crew, I must move this mission forward. And then we're back in the observation lounge. I'm not willing to accept that he's dead, Riker says, and just leave it at that. We cannot make Mr. Data our priority. Riker says, what is more important than data? Look at what we have so far. Evidence that these aliens have been traveling back in time. Dr. Hirsch says, what if they're trying to undermine our history for some reason? Some kind of guerrilla warfare, data? Worf says, we must assume that there is a threat. If not to us, then to 19th century Earth. We have to determine what that threat may be. Mr. LaFord, we have to find some way to communicate with these life forms. It's not going to be easy, Geordi says, to be produced with data did. We can create a contained subspace field, but we need an externally sensitive phase discriminator to get to that 004 variant. Can you build one? It won't be as good as Data's. Will it be good enough? Judy says, I don't know. I can try. It's going to take some time, though. Picard says, I don't want anyone else going in alone. Judy says, I can probably create a large enough space field to encompass everyone, but adjusting the phase inside the field, that's going to be the hard part. So Picard says, make it so. And then Riker has a word with Data. Picard. We have to assume one thing, sir. Whatever Data may be, he's doing the same thing we are. He's trying to get the bottom of this. He may have a better idea about what's going on than we do. So it might be in our best interest of the mission to find him. Alright, so there's Riker having his one-on-one with the commander. I mean, Picard. Sorry, I'm batting 1,000 today. And then Worf comes in and says, if we find Commander Data, it may be our fate to die with him in the past. If our remains are in that cabin, they would have turned to dust long ago. And then we see Guinan mixing a very sensitive drink. And then Picard comes in. I'm afraid to interrupt you, Captain. You didn't have to come all the way down here. I would have been more than happy to come to you. Amidst all this, I haven't seen such a complex operation since the Academy Lab final in exochemistry. It's a toxicity properties. It's very, very touchy. The trick is to change the evaporation point of the main ingredient. You want the temperature when the liquid goes to vapor to be half degree below the body temperature of the customer. That way, when the liquid touches the tongue, it evaporates and the flavor is carried entirely by the vapor. A few molecules off the vapor point vanishes and poof, it's all gone, all of it. What is it you wanted to see me about? I hear you're sending it away deep down to the surface. Are you going? Well, now that this is rather unusual for you to be curious about an away mission. Maybe it's an unusual away mission. Starfleet captains, if you have something to say, I'm listening, Picard says. Starfleet captains don't usually accompany away teams. It's a general policy, Picard says. This time you have to. Why? You just do. Do you remember the first time we met? Of course. Don't be so sure. I just mean if you don't go on this mission, we'll never meet. Here's the contraption that Data is building from all this stuff that Bellboy brought him. Suits. Sorry. So the Bellboy brings in that anvil and it's really, really heavy. And then Data goes over and he's walking around like this piece of foam. And then he's like, oh, oops, it hurts. Ow. I believe I've overexerted myself, Data says. Well, yeah, I did say, did you get it working? Yes, whatever it is. This is for your trouble. It gives us more cash. I require a low intensity magnetic field core. I believe the iron mass of the anvil will provide that. What's it going to be when it's finished? What do you think it's going to be? Shoot. I caught a catfish. Shoot, running all over the place. I would guess maybe a new kind of motor for one of those horseless carriages. That's a good guess. Hot damn. You really think there's money in those things? Perhaps. Isn't that what makes America great? What do you mean for RECHAP? Well, a man rides into town in his pajamas, wins a grubbed steak at a poker table, turns it into a horseless carriage, and makes $1 million. That's America. I believe I've given you an erroneous impression. You know, someday my ship's going to come in. You have a ship? Yeah, it's full of gold too. I'm just biding my time until it gets here. Raising a steak any way I can. I've been a newsy, cut fish, a can of my heck. I've even been an oyster pirate. Well, you've had considerable spectrum of occupations. Yeah, well, you can't stay in one place too long. I'm always looking for an angle, you know, so maybe you and I could go into business together, selling your horses, carriages, and all. You invent them, I sell them. I can sell anybody anything. What do you say? I believe your plan is a bit premature. Keep it in mind, though. I better get back. Oh, I forgot. I got you something at the bakery on Third. And he gives him a newspaper with a croissant. And he picks up the paper and he sees the picture of Guinan. And then he knows where he's got to go. Like, Al came back. I don't know why, but she came back. She's like, I don't want to be here, but I want to be here. She can't make up her mind. So, we have Samuel Clemens giving a little bit of a lecture. The eminent scientist Alfred Russel Wallace has revived the theory that Earth is at the center of the stellar universe. This distinguished natural philosopher has reaffirmed our planet as only a habitable globe in the heavens, a world furthermore constructed for the sole benefit of man. He's got a lot of folks excited about the notion. My dear Mr. Clemens, why do you think you're not one of them? Your suspicions, Madam Guinan, are undoubtedly based upon your keen observation skills. Now, if you permit me, I'll continue my character association. My dear Mr. Clemens, please do. According to our best geological estimate, the Earth is approximately 100 million years old. Perhaps it is less, perhaps more. Perhaps a great deal more. Clemens, indeed. But regardless, it's an ancient and the extreme. Now, geology also tells us that man itself has existed for a microscopic fraction of the years. Curious, isn't it, that the world got by for such a long time with no humans around to fill it up? Space. I suppose Mr. Wallace and Mrs. Flores would say that the Earth needed all that time to prepare itself for our illustrious survival. Why the oyster alone probably required 15 million years to get it to come out just right. But if the Earth is not alone, Guinan says. Oh, I'm getting my signals crossed. But if the Earth is not alone, and there are millions of inhabited planets in the heavens, quite my point, Man becomes trivial creation, does he not? Lost in the vastness of the cosmic prairie, adrift on the deep ocean of time, a single one among countless others. Guidance says maybe someone may argue that a diamond is still a diamond, even if it's one amongst millions. It still shines as brightly. Clement says, someone might say that, dear lady, if someone thought the human race was akin to a precious stone. This increasingly hypothetical someone would not be me. And then there's a commotion at the door. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. I'd like to speak to Guidance. And you are Data. Mr. Data, could it be under another name? No. I can't seem to find your name on the guest list, sir. I'm a personal friend. Madam Guyman has discovered many personals since the newspaper announcement, but if your name is not on the list, there's nothing I can do. It is urgent that I speak to her, Data says. Unless you leave this house immediately, I will send for the police. That's an excellent idea. I'll wait for them in here. And Data shuffles past the doorman. Excuse me, I must speak to you immediately. Forgive me, ma'am, he just watched right in. I'm sorry for the disruption, but he would not believe me when I told him we were friends. Do I know you, Mr. Data? Yes, we're on a ship together. I do so much traveling. What ship would that be? The Enterprise? Is that a clipper ship, Guidance asked? It's a starship. A starship? Which ship would that be? Of course, Mr. Data. Excuse us. We have so much to catch up on. Excuse us. How are you? And they go outside for a private talk. What exactly are you? An android, artificial life form. Did my father send you here because if he did, you must go back and tell him I'm not done listening. I was not sent by your father. Circumstances demanded that I take you into my confidences. I require your assistance. God touches his nose. Sorry, I'm from the 24th century, where you and I serve aboard a starship. And our ship encountered a species who appeared to be threatening the 19th century Earth. I investigated and was inadvertently pulled into their temporal vortex. When I saw your photograph in the newspaper, I assumed you would join me from the future, from the Enterprise. I knew your species was long-lived, but I did not realize you visited Earth so long ago. And then they discovered there was an eavesdropper on their conversation. Eavesdropping is by no means proper activity for a gentleman. Nonetheless, the deed is done. Okay, then we get a voice story. Captain's log started at 459-653. An away team is being to the surface with a device that may enable them to phase shift into an alien world. Look, Dorothy says, okay, counts right over there. Troy puts down one of those things. Dr. Crusher says, the trifluid waves end right here. So Troy puts down another one of those tripods. Mr. Wolf puts his down. They have encircled the amphitheater. Picard beams in. That's the device that Riker was installing, that everybody is installing in the cavern. We're ready. How soon will you be ready? We're ready now, Captain. The subspace field is established. I'd be more comfortable if you'd monitor our progress from the bridge, Captain. I have reason to believe that my presence on this mission is imperative. Imperative? Yes, Mr. Wolf, will you report back to the bridge? What is the chief security? My place is at your side. Picard says the security of the Enterprise is paramount importance. Mr. Wolf, so Mr. Wolf goes back to the Enterprise. Yes, sir. Wolf Enterprise, go ahead, beam me up. So Wolf is beamed away. Proceed is still a forge. I've modified this tricorder to interface with the subspace generator. It should allow me to control the phase discrimination, assuming this is going to work at all. I need everyone within the field. So they all get inside the field. I modified this tricorder to interface with the subspace generator. It should allow me to control the phase discrimination, assuming this is going to work at all. I need everyone within the field adjusting chronic distortion 001.002, 0.003, 0.004. And then, if I could do this, If we can see them, why can't they see us? The phrase displacement might not bring us far enough into the peripheral range. These strands appear to be biomagnetic, variable flux, possibly organic in origin, a life form. No, there's no life here. What I sense is well like an imprint, an echo of the last moment of life, human life. They all died in terror. Two figures appear. Let me see if I can get it. My God, they're delivering more for them, for the others to ingest. Look at what he's carrying. One of the figures holds a snake. The bright light portal opens. The figures go back through, and Picard and the Wii team goes through the light, and that's how the episode ends. So, that was Time's Arrow Part 1. I hope that you will be with me next week for Time's Arrow Part 2. There's only 2 episodes on this disc. We have finished season 5. We are headed into season 6. And please hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget to watch the If Then later this afternoon. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one.